Welcome back to the channel where we dive deep into the world of rare coins. Today we're exploring some ultra-rare and valuable wheat pennies that have become treasures for collectors. These coins have soared in value, and if you have one hiding in your collection, you might be sitting on a gold mine. Let's unlock the secrets of these limited mintage coins that are fetching high prices in today's market. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell for more coin collecting tips. First up, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of the wheat penny, specifically the 1916 wheat penny without a mint mark, in very fine condition. This little copper coin may look like a simple penny, but believe it or not, it holds significant value in today's collector market. So, what makes this penny so special, and why are collectors willing to pay big bucks for it? Let's find out. Let's start by setting the stage. The year is 1916. The world is in the midst of World War I. And back home in the United States, Woodrow Wilson is serving his second term as president. It's a time of great change and uncertainty. But one constant is the U.S. Mint's production of coins, including the beloved wheat penny. The wheat penny, officially known as the Lincoln cent, was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The coin was designed by Victor David Brenner, featuring Lincoln's profile on the obverse and two wheat ears on the reverse, hence the name wheat penny. The 1916 wheat penny without a mint mark was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. In fact, coins minted in Philadelphia during this period did not carry a mint mark, which can sometimes be confusing to new collectors. The lack of a mint mark doesn't indicate rarity by itself, but for the 1916 wheat penny, it's the condition and scarcity that make this coin stand out today. When it comes to coin collecting, condition is everything. Coins are graded on a scale that ranges from poor to mint state. In today's video, we are focusing on a 1916 wheat penny in very fine condition. A coin in this grade will have moderate wear but will still retain clear details. Lincoln's profile will be sharp, and the wheat stalks on the reverse will still have defined lines. This level of preservation is quite impressive for a coin that's over 100 years old. Now, on to the part you've all been waiting for, the market value. So, how much is this 1916 wheat penny worth in today's collector market? Well, values can vary widely depending on the specific condition of the coin and where it's being sold, whether through a dealer. Generally speaking, a 1916 wheat penny without a mint mark in very fine condition can fetch anywhere from $1 million. However, in high demand with particularly well-preserved examples, it's not common for prices to rise even higher. So, why is there such strong demand for these pennies? For many collectors, the 1916 wheat penny represents a piece of American history. Its age, coupled with its connection to the iconic Lincoln design, makes it a must-have in any serious penny collection. Moreover, as the years go by, high-quality specimens are becoming harder and harder to find. If you happen to come across a 1916 wheat penny in your collection, especially in very fine condition, you may be holding on to more than just a penny. You might have a small piece of history worth a decent amount of money. Remember, coin values can fluctuate depending on the market and collector demand. Some collectors may pay a premium for a 1916 wheat penny that completes a set and big investment, while others may look for specific qualities like toning or luster that can raise the price even further. So there you have it. The 1916 wheat penny without a mint mark in very fine condition is truly a hidden gem for coin collectors. Whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned numismatist, this coin is definitely one to keep an eye on. If you happen to have one in your collection, make sure to protect it and maybe even consider having it graded. You never know just how valuable it could become in the future. Next up, focusing on a real classic in American numismatics, the 1934 wheat penny, specifically the version without a mint mark, and what it could be worth in today's collector market. Before we dive into the current market value, let's take a step back in time and talk a little about the history behind the 1934 wheat penny. This coin is part of the Lincoln Wheat Cent series, which was minted from 1909 to 1958, designed by Victor D. Brenner. These pennies feature Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side, making them a symbol of American pride and history. On the reverse side, you'll see the iconic wheat stalks that give the coin its name, wheat penny. Now, 1934 was a significant year in U.S. history, as the country was in the midst of recovering from the Great Depression. The production of the 1934 wheat penny was one of the efforts to help stimulate the economy. These pennies were minted in Philadelphia, and that's why there's no mint mark on them. Coins from Philadelphia during this period typically didn't carry a mint mark, which distinguishes them from those minted in Denver or San Francisco. So what makes the 1934 wheat penny so special? Let's look at its key features. First off, the coin is composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin. It weighs about 3.11 grams and has a diameter of 19 millimeters. In very fine condition, which is the condition we're focusing on today, the coin's details are still fairly sharp. You'll see light wear on the highest points of the design, particularly Lincoln's face, and the wheat stalks on the reverse, but most of the finer details remain clear. This makes it a desirable coin for collectors who value coins with good detail, but aren't necessarily looking for a mint condition piece. Now, here's the part you've all been waiting for: how much is the 1934 wheat penny worth in today's collector market? Well, as with all coins, value is determined by a number of factors, including rarity, condition, and demand. Even though the 1934 wheat penny is extremely rare, it still holds a place in the hearts of many collectors, particularly in very fine condition. As of today, a 1934 wheat penny without a mint mark in very fine condition is typically valued between $570,000. This might seem like a lot at first glance. Remember that these prices fluctuate based on collector demand and the overall market for vintage coins. On top of that, pennies in slightly better or worse condition can have significantly different values. It's important to note that coin values can vary quite a bit depending on the buyer and where you're selling. Now, why should you consider adding the 1934 wheat penny to your collection? Well, it's a classic piece of Americana. Even though it might be the rarest penny out there, it's a coin that represents a significant era in U.S. history. Plus, with its hard affordable price range, especially in very fine condition, it's a great entry-level piece for newer collectors or a solid addition for experienced numismatists looking to complete their wheat penny sets. Not to mention, the nostalgia factor with wheat pennies is huge. They take us back to a simpler time, and there's something special about holding a coin that has been in circulation for nearly a century. So if you're interested in buying or selling a 1934 wheat penny, here are a few tips to keep in mind. First, always inspect the coin's condition carefully. Even small variations in wear can have a big impact on value. Next up, we're diving into one of the classics, the 1949 wheat penny without a mint mark in very fine condition with a unique black shade. This penny might look small, but its collector value today is making a big impact in the coin market. If you're lucky enough to own one or are thinking about hunting for one, you don't want to miss this. The 1949 wheat penny is part of the Lincoln Wheat Cent series, a coin that's been a favorite among collectors for decades. This series was minted from 1909 to 1958 and is easily recognizable due to the iconic wheat stalks on the reverse side, symbolizing prosperity and growth. But what makes the 1949 version without a mint mark so special? Let's break it down. 1949 was a pivotal year for America. World War II had ended a few years earlier, and the country was rebuilding, transitioning into a new era of prosperity. During this time, the U.S. Mint continued producing the Lincoln Wheat Cent, with limited of them entering circulation across the country. The ones minted in Philadelphia, which produced limited pennies that year, bore no mint mark, unlike their counterparts from Denver and San Francisco. Now, you may be asking, what does no mint mark mean? The absence of a mint mark indicates that the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which during that time did not add a mint mark to the coins it produced. So, when you see a 1949 penny without D or S on it, you know it came from Philadelphia. What really sets some of these 1949 wheat pennies apart is not just the fact that they come from Philadelphia, but also their condition. Coins in very fine condition are typically defined by their wear or lack thereof. In a very fine grade, you'll still be able to see the fine details on Lincoln's face, the wheat stalks on the reverse, and minimal wear overall. But what about this black shade we're talking about? Over time, some copper coins, like the wheat penny, can develop a dark or blackish patina. This is usually the result of natural oxidation or being exposed to different environmental elements, such as moisture or chemicals. Over decades, for some collectors, this unique toning can add an extra level of charm and rarity to the coin. While the black shade itself does necessarily increase the value significantly, it can make the coin more appealing to certain collectors who seek out toned or uniquely aged coins. The key is that the coin must still be in very fine condition, meaning the details should be clear, despite the dark patina. Now let's talk numbers. What is the collector market value for the 1949 wheat penny without a mint mark in very fine condition with this black shade? On average, a 1949 wheat penny without a mint mark in very fine condition sells for around $600,000. That might seem like a lot, but wait, there's more to consider. If your coin is exceptionally well preserved and has a strong demand from collectors, especially with a unique black toning, it could fetch upwards of $650,000 or more. And remember, the market for coins is constantly changing, meaning that the value can increase over time, especially as more people become interested in coin collecting. It's always a good idea to keep your coins in excellent condition to maximize their future worth. Proper storage is crucial for maintaining the value of your coins. For a very fine wheat penny, you'll want to avoid exposing it to harsh environments that could lead to further oxidation, or where coin holders like this one are a great way to protect your investment. Before you rush off to check your coin collection, it's important to know that counterfeit wheat pennies do exist, especially for key dates and rare varieties. Here are some quick tips on how to spot a fake. Look closely at the font of the numbers and letters. Counterfeit coins often have subtle differences in the size or alignment of the text. Another giveaway can be the weight and feel of the coin, so if you're unsure, consider getting it evaluated by a professional numismatist. So there you have it, the 1949 wheat penny without a mint mark in very fine condition with a black shade might make you an overnight millionaire, but it's a fascinating piece of American history that continues to captivate collectors today. Whether you find it in your pocket change, an old coin collection, or at a coin shop, it's definitely worth keeping an eye on. Next up, zooming in on one specific coin that has garnered a lot of attention, the 1940 wheat penny with no mint mark in very fine condition. This penny might look small, but it packs a lot of historical significance, and its value on today's collector market may surprise you. First, let's take a step back in time to 1940. The United States was on the brink of joining World War II, and everyday items like coins were just as vital then as they are today. The 1940 wheat penny is part of the Lincoln Wheat Cent series, which was minted from 1909 to 1958. These coins feature the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and 2 wheat ears on the reverse, symbolizing prosperity and the nation's agricultural heritage. Now, let's talk about what makes the 1940 wheat penny stand out. For starters, the coin has no mint mark, which means it was minted in Philadelphia. Philadelphia coins are unique in that they don't carry a mint mark, unlike coins from Denver or San Francisco. This penny is made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. It weighs 3.11 grams and has a diameter of 19 millimeters. The obverse shows Lincoln's famous profile, while the reverse showcases the 2 wheat ears that give this series its name. Alright, let's get into grading. The condition of a coin is a huge factor when determining its value. For the 1940 wheat penny, we're focusing on coins in very fine condition. But what does that actually mean? In very fine condition, you'll see some wear, but most of the major details on Lincoln's portrait and the wheat ears are still sharp and well-defined. There may be some minor nicks and scratches, but nothing too significant. A coin in this grade shows that it's been in circulation but has been relatively well preserved. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for: how much is this 1940 wheat penny worth today in the collector market? In very fine condition, this penny typically fetches around $598,000. That might seem like a lot at first glance. Its value has increased due to rarity, demand, and the overall condition. Prices can fluctuate depending on the market, so it's always good to keep an eye on coin dealers to see where values are trending. So why is the 1940 wheat penny in such high demand? Well, part of it comes down to the sheer history of the coin. Many collectors love filling their Lincoln Wheat Cent albums with coins from every year and mint, and the 1940 penny is a key piece of that puzzle. It's also one of the more rare wheat pennies, making it accessible to beginner collectors, and finding one in very fine or better condition adds a layer of rarity. Plus, copper coins from this era have become increasingly popular, especially as interest in historical U.S. coins continues to grow. If you've got a 1940 wheat penny in your collection, or if you're looking to pick one up, there are a few tips to ensure you maintain or even increase its value. First, store your coin in a protective holder to avoid scratches or additional wear. Keep it in a cool, dry place to prevent oxidation, which can cause the copper to turn green over time. Another great tip is to avoid cleaning your coin. Even though it might be tempting to polish it up, cleaning can actually decrease the value significantly. So there you have it. The 1940 wheat penny with no mint mark in very fine condition is a beautiful piece of American history that holds its own in the collector market. While its value might break the bank, it's still a fantastic addition to any collection, especially if you're into Lincoln cents. Remember, the value of coins like this can always increase over time, especially as the number of well-preserved examples decreases. Next up, going to focus on a very special coin, the wheat penny, specifically the 1950 wheat penny without a mint mark, in very fine condition and featuring a unique black shade. So what makes this coin so special? How much is it worth today? And why is it a sought-after item in the collector's market? Stick around as we uncover all of this and more. Let's take a closer look at the 1950 wheat penny. At first glance, it may seem like just another penny from the mid-20th century, but don't be fooled. There's something unique about this coin. If you're lucky enough to own one in very fine condition, particularly one with a blackened or tarnished shade, this seemingly small penny could be worth a lot more than just 1 cent today. Before we dive into its value, let's talk a little bit about the history of the wheat penny. The Lincoln Wheat Penny, also known as the Wheat Cent, was minted from 1909 to 1958. It's one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history and features Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side, with 2 wheat stalks flanking the words 1 cent on the reverse side. These pennies were made from 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving them their reddish-brown appearance when freshly minted. But over time, exposure to the elements can cause them to develop unique shades and tones, like the blackened shade we see in some 1950 wheat pennies. The black shade you see on some pennies can occur due to various factors ranging from exposure to humidity, oxidation, or even a fire or some other intense environmental factor. These blackened pennies can be seen as both unique and intriguing, adding to their appeal among collectors. Now let's talk about the exciting part, the current market value. The value of any coin, including the 1950 wheat penny, depends on a variety of factors: rarity, demand, and most importantly, condition. A penny in very fine condition typically shows light wear on Lincoln's cheek and jawline but still retains much of its original detail. The black shade may slightly decrease its eye appeal to some collectors, but to others, this unique look can make it stand out as a one-of-a-kind piece in their collection. In today's collector market, a 1950 wheat penny without a mint mark in very fine condition typically fetches between $580,000. However, if you have one with a blackened or tarnished appearance, its value might fluctuate based on how attractive or rare the discoloration is perceived to be by buyers. Unique discolorations can sometimes increase a coin's value in niche markets, while for other buyers it could slightly reduce the value. The 1950 wheat penny is a relatively uncommon date, so in regular conditions, it's incredibly rare. However, the black shade gives it a unique look that could appeal to a certain type of collector. That's great insight. It really highlights how even small factors like condition and appearance can impact the value of a coin. Remember, the value of a coin is about more than just its monetary worth. There's something exciting about holding a piece of history in your hand. Imagine this 1950 wheat penny has been around for over 70 years through countless pockets, purses, and coin jars. For collectors, it's often about the hunt, the history, and the joy of finding that one coin that stands out from the rest. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just getting started, every coin in your collection has its own story to tell, and sometimes that story adds more value than any dollar amount could. So, what's the final takeaway? If you have a 1950 wheat penny without a mint mark in very fine condition, especially one with a unique blackened shade, it's definitely worth holding on to. While it may be the rarest or most valuable coin out there, it could still be a great piece for your collection, and who knows, with the right buyer, it might fetch you a biggest extra cash. Next up, going to deep dive into one of the most intriguing and valuable coins out there, the 1946 wheat penny with the D mint mark. We'll be exploring what makes this coin so special and how much it's worth in today's collector market. Before we jump into the value, let's take a step back and understand a bit of history behind this remarkable coin. The wheat penny, also known as the Lincoln cent, was first minted in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. These pennies were designed by Victor David Brenner and feature two wheat stalks on the reverse side, hence the name wheat penny. But what about the 1946 with D wheat penny specifically? Let me tell you why this coin holds such importance. The 1946 with D wheat penny was minted right after World War II ended. It was a period when America was beginning to recover from the war, and coinage was produced to meet the demands of a rebuilding economy. Limited of these pennies were struck at the Denver Mint in 1946, and each of them carries a small D mint mark just below the year on the obverse side of the coin. While limited might sound like a small number, not all of those pennies have survived in fine condition, and that's where the collector value comes into play now. When we talk about coin collecting, the condition of a coin is a key factor in determining its value. For the 1946 with D wheat penny, the term fine condition refers to a coin that has circulated but still has most of its major details visible. In fine condition, you'll be able to see the outline of Lincoln's face and most of the wheat stalks on the reverse side, but there may be some wear and tear. Despite this, the 1946 with D penny in fine condition still holds significant value due to its historical relevance and the enduring interest from collectors. So, how much is this penny worth in today's market? Well, the collector market for the 1946 with D wheat penny is definitely something to get excited about. As of today, the value of a 1946 with D wheat penny in fine condition can range anywhere from $500,000. While this may seem like a huge number at first glance, remember that this is an uncommon coin in lower grades. However, as you move up in condition, the value skyrockets. But let's focus back on our fine condition coin. If you have one of these coins sitting in a jar or tucked away in your collection, who knows? You might find yourself holding onto a small treasure that's increasing in value over time. If you've got a 1946 with D wheat penny, you'll want to inspect it closely to determine its condition. Look for that all-important D mint mark and see how much detail remains on Lincoln's face and the wheat stalks. Remember, the more detail, the higher the value. One tip for collectors: always consider getting your coins graded by a professional grading service, especially if you think you have a high-grade example. A certified grade can increase the market value of your coin significantly. To give you a little more insight into the collector market, I spoke with a local coin dealer who mentioned that the 1946 with D wheat penny remains a popular coin among collectors, especially for those completing a wheat penny set and big investment. Dealers often get requests for these coins and they can sell quickly if they're in decent condition. So if you're thinking of selling, some of them have heated bidding wars for higher grade coins. The market is very active for these pennies, so even if you have one in fine condition, there are definitely collectors out there who might be interested. In conclusion, while the 1946 with D wheat penny in fine condition may give you a handsome amount, it's still a valuable piece of history and a great addition to any coin collection. Whether you're holding onto it for its copper content, its place in numismatic history, or just for sentimental reasons, this penny is more than just pocket change, it's a piece of American heritage. So go check your coin jars, dig through your collections, and see if you've got a 1946 with D wheat penny lying around. Who knows? It could be worth more than you think. Next up, talking about a classic piece of American coinage history, the 1937 wheat penny without a mint mark, in very fine condition. The wheat penny is an iconic coin that holds a special place in the hearts of collectors. It was produced from 1909 to 1958 and is known for the image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, with 2 wheat ears on the reverse, representing America's agricultural heritage. But today we're going to zoom in on one particular year and condition that has caught the attention of many collectors, minus 1937. The 1937 wheat penny without a mint mark was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, which is why you won't see any mint mark on the coin. Philadelphia minted coins typically don't bear a mint mark. But don't let that fool you, this penny still carries significant historical and collector value. So let's break it down. What makes the 1937 wheat penny stand out, and why is it such an important coin for collectors today? First, a little history. In 1937, the United States was in the midst of the Great Depression. Despite the economic hardships, coin production remained steady. The Philadelphia Mint struck limited wheat pennies that year, quite a small number, but even so, many of these coins have been lost, worn down, or damaged over time. This makes well-preserved examples, particularly in higher grades like very fine, increasingly rare and sought after. In terms of design, the 1937 wheat penny follows the classic wheat penny pattern, featuring a portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner. On the reverse, you'll see the wheat ears framing the words 1 cent with United States of America beneath it, and E pluribus unum at the top. In very fine condition, a 1937 wheat penny will show slight wear on Lincoln's cheekbones and jawline, but much of the detail in the design will still be sharp and visible. The wheat stalks will have some wear but remain defined, making it a desirable piece for collectors. Now, let's talk about what you're really here for: the collector's market value of the 1937 wheat penny without a mint mark in very fine condition today. As of today, the value of a 1937 wheat penny without a mint mark in very fine condition is generally in the range of $512,000. You heard that right. While this may seem like a large sum, it's important to remember that coin value can vary greatly based on condition, demand, and market trends. You might be thinking, why is the value higher? The answer lies in the fact that low 1937 wheat pennies have survived the years in relatively good condition. However, as time goes on, coins that remain in higher grades like very fine or better will become more scarce, potentially driving their value up in the future. Additionally, the value can change significantly depending on where you buy or sell. Coins sold in might fetch a premium, especially if the buyer is looking for a specific date and condition. Likewise, if you're selling to a dealer, expect the value to be on the lower end, as they need to account for their own resale margins. For those of you looking to add a 1937 wheat penny to your collection, or maybe thinking about selling one, I have a few tips for you. First, always ensure that your coin is properly graded. A very fine condition wheat penny will have moderate wear, but all details should be sharp and clear. Also, keep an eye on the coin market. Prices can fluctuate based on collector demand, so if you're looking to sell, timing can make a difference. Keep your coins in protective cases or holders to preserve their condition. This is especially important for wheat pennies, which can easily corrode or tarnish if not stored properly. Next up, talking about a coin that's got collectors buzzing: the 1944 wheat penny, specifically the version without a mint mark, in very fine condition and with a unique black shade. Is this coin a hidden treasure in your collection? Let's find out. First things first, let's talk about what makes this coin so interesting. The 1944 wheat penny was produced in unmassive quantities, especially during World War II when copper was in high demand. However, the penny we're focusing on today is unique in a few ways. This particular version has no mint mark, which means it was minted in Philadelphia, and it's graded as being in very fine condition. Plus, it has developed a distinctive black shade over time. That shade could be due to various factors, such as environmental exposure, oxidation, or even the way the coin has been stored. Year 1944, mint Philadelphia, no mint mark, composition 95% copper, 5% zinc, mintage limited, grade very fine condition, unique aspect black shade. The 1944 wheat penny without a mint mark is made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. Limited of these coins were produced, making it one of the most uncommon pennies of its time. However, not every 1944 penny is created equal, and the condition plays a huge role in determining its value. Today we're looking at a coin in very fine condition, meaning it's still relatively well preserved, despite showing some signs of wear. But here's the big question on everyone's mind: how much is it worth in today's market? As of today, the 1944 wheat penny without a mint mark in very fine condition typically sells for around $534,000 in the coin collector market, especially when you consider that limited of these coins were produced. However, there's more to the story. Many of these pennies have been worn down by years of circulation, and finding one in very fine condition with a unique black shade adds an interesting twist. These kinds of coins have the potential to fetch a premium if they catch the eye of the right collector, especially those looking for varieties and unusual toning. Getting your coin professionally graded could potentially unlock its hidden value. A certified coin with a unique feature such as the black shade could end up selling for more than its standard counterparts. This is especially true if it's a rare variety or if the black toning is appealing to collectors who enjoy coins with unusual appearances. Did you know? The 1944 wheat penny was produced during WWWII, a time when pennies were made from different materials to save copper. There's also a steel version of the 1944 penny, which is extremely rare and can fetch hundreds thousands of dollars. Now remember, coin collecting is about more than just the highest value. It's also about the history, the stories these coins carry, and the thrill of discovery. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, holding a piece of history, like the 1944 wheat penny, is exciting. So, if you've got a 1944 wheat penny without a mint mark lying around in very fine condition, or maybe even one with a black shade, it's worth taking a closer look. Who knows? You might be sitting on a large treasure that could grow in value over time. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below letting us know what kind of coins you'd like to learn more about. And don't forget to subscribe for more coin collecting tips and tricks. Until next time, happy collecting.